Hello there, Melinda Joy, Crossroads Storyteller here with an additional part to our tips and tricks for getting to know a new deck. I think this might be my final tips and tricks specifically about getting to know a new deck. We'll see how it goes, but this can be a deck that you have just opened, or it can be a deck that you've spent some time with, but you would like to better get to know the deck. Like there's some dissonance or something. Just doesn't feel like you're as intimate as you could get. And the theme of this part is viewing or engaging with one card at a time and working through the deck one card at a time. So this takes a little bit more of a commitment than any of the other tips and tricks I've shared so far. If for some reason it didn't feel right to do it with the entire deck, I see how it could be really helpful to sort your deck and between piles of here's all the cards I know really well and like understand and jive with, and here's all the cards I'm not really sure about, and here's all the cards I don't like, or something like that, where you have some kind of gradient. And then say you only have 30 cards in your I'm not quite sure about this pile, you could do this exercise with just those 30 cards. Okay, so that's an example of one of the many ways you can take the ideas I'm sharing with you and make them your own. Because that is all that I really want, is for everyone to know what works for them and do that. So here's some ideas to potentially inspire whatever it is that will work best for you. So yes, if I wasn't already super clear, what you're gonna do is you're gonna have your stack of cards that you're working through, and then one day at a time, you could either keep them all in order, or you could shuffle them and then keep them in that shuffled order, or you could shuffle it each day. So it doesn't matter how you go through it. What matters is that after you've gone through a card and I've done whatever exercises I want to do with this card, then I put this in a different pile. So that card doesn't come up again in this exercise. Yes. And so, yeah, at some point you'll have a whole bunch of cards in this stack and only a couple more in this one. And then you'll know all of the cards amazingly, deeply, and beautifully. Okay, so here are some ideas of ways you can engage with the cards each day. And as many of my other videos, you can combine some of these together, or you can only pick one, or you could do all of them. Maybe you would want to do more than one day per card if you wanted to do something a little bit more extensive, which is something I've done. More accurately, is something I'm currently doing. Spending more than one day with each card. So yeah, then it's gonna take a little bit more long. Oh, that also reminds me, please be really compassionate with yourself. I find I have a much better experience doing this exercise when I don't get upset at myself for missing a day. Like taking a break, as long as it's not a forever break, is reasonable. And I mean, if it is a forever break, maybe that was the way you were supposed to do the exercise. I'm not sure. Once again, please honor your inner authority. That's the goal. So one of the options is to dream with each card. And I definitely recommend viewing the image on the face of the card before the dream and sort of making note of any symbols or pieces that really pop out or I resonate with or something like that. And then have something prepared for you in the morning so that it's easy to record your dream when you're still sort of in between the worlds. And if you're one of those humans who's like, I don't dream, I mean, everyone's dreaming, or else you're having a really rough time in life. But you know, sometimes I don't remember my dreams, but I remember like an emotion, or I remember what part of my waking life it feels connected to. All of those things matter and are valid and important. So don't belittle your subconscious cues, even if they're not visual. Second option is to read the guidebook and reflect on the card. I like to do this especially when I've bought a deck specifically to get to know the creator of the deck. And I just pull my card, I read about that card, and then at the end of the day or throughout the day, if I remember to, I see if there's anything about my day that is connected to that card. The 5-minute meditation practice. This is my absolutely favorite thing. I might mention it in every single tips and tricks video. If I do, I don't apologize because it's amazing. If you haven't heard it already, what you do is you set your timer and you look at the card for 5 minutes straight. You don't look at anything else but the card for the whole 5 minutes. And you can look at different pieces of the card, of the image. You can look at the same detail the whole 5 minutes. It doesn't matter, just as long as you spend 5 minutes looking at the card and making yourself available for insight. Next option is to hold the posture. So I really like to hold postures for a minute. Definitely do whatever it is your body is able for. And I mean, I haven't tested it, but I figured the longer you're able to stand or be in a posture, the more insight you may uncover. I'm not sure. Feel free to test that hypothesis. But this works really well for a deck that has a lot of people. Of course, I pulled the card that doesn't have a person, but has a lot of people in your deck. Not all decks are this way, but the ones that are, this particular practice could be especially useful to hold the posture of the person on the card for whatever time you've designated. The next possibility is drawing the symbols, and this is especially good if you have a deck without any postures. And you don't have to be a renowned artist. You don't have to draw all of the symbols. Yeah, definitely do what works for you. Just know that the sort of purpose of this possibility is to allow the symbol to move through your many bodies, your mental, emotional, physical body, as you identify identify the symbol in the card, right? That's the mental, and like feel it. And as you're drawing it, that's the point. So if there's only one symbol and you want to get it just right and do like a immaculate zoomed in version of that, that's cool. If you just want to do like the stickman version of as many symbols as you can find, that's okay too. Oh, journaling. Journaling is good all of the time when working with tarot. And especially if you want to have something to reference as you're developing your understanding of tarot, it's really supportive to have references so that you can be like, aha, I just saw this card. What was the insight from last time I looked at it? How is that different from the insight I have today in this situation? But then also, besides that more basic journaling, it can be really positive to do things like write up a random impromptu story about the card, or write stream of consciousness as you look at the card. Like, whatever other journaling skills you have, do those. And that brings me to my last but not least, which is get creative. I have one deck where I feel like I need to like feel each card a little bit deeper, like on a spiritual level, and so I've been praying with each card. So like, do whatever creative thing comes to you, especially working off of the skills and practices you already enjoy. Okay, so much love. I hope that was helpful.